To Peak, Train Like a Girl, a podcast by girls in sport, for girls and coaches in sport. We're here to amplify your voice. It deserves to be heard. At Peak, we're a safe place for girls to hang out, learn, grow, and build community. We empower girls in sport and coaches with knowledge, resources, and support we think is necessary in today's athletic environment to thrive. Join us for bold conversations about experiences of girls in sport. Our discussions will make you laugh, cry, cheer, get frustrated, and hopefully rethink the future of girls in sport for generations to come. So whether you're walking, commuting, in the swimming pool, cleaning your bedroom, or in your dorm room, take us with you. Follow us. It helps more than you can imagine. Check out our new website and make sure you share with a female athlete or coach you love. So excited to introduce you to our next guest. Liv is a collegiate swimmer at the University of Iowa, which happens to be where our last intern who ran the podcast also swam. So I'm super excited to get to know a little bit more about her and her journey. Liv, are you ready to get warmed up?
Absolutely. So excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited you're here also. All right, vanilla or chocolate?
Ooh, chocolate.
Nice. Podcast or Netflix?
Podcast.
Awesome. What's your favorite right now?
Honestly, I don't have a favorite right now. I'm still exploring some favorites,
I love
but
that.
yeah, I think Peak might be becoming one of my new favorites.
We love that. We love that. So on a podcast, do you look more to be educated or in entertainment or both?
Definitely both.
Nice. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way now too. I used to be kind of just education. Now, like, it's kind of fun to laugh once in a while.
For sure.
And I hope at Peak, people get a little of both. All right. Now I'm curious about this. Do you prefer in the pool, are you more of a long distance swimmer or a short sprinter?
I'm a short sprinter. Nothing distance for me.
Okay. And so do you prefer like short anaerobic workouts or do you prefer workouts that are like longer and more sustained?
Short and anaerobic. I'm big on power and speed.
That's what I kind of figured. I can't wait to dive into that a little more. All right. Do you blow dry or air dry your hair?
I do air dry my hair.
Kind of figured. All right. Now, this is another question we haven't asked before, but I'm super curious. Do you prefer a chlorine pool or a salt pool?
Chlorine pool, actually.
Oh my gosh. Fill me in. Why?
Yeah. Salt pool. Okay. Secret about swimmers. Sometimes we do get water in our mouth. So chlorine tastes a little better than a saltwater pool.
Oh, that's so interesting. But what about your skin? Does it make your skin super dry?
Honestly, both do, but I've been doing it for so long where I just got to rinse off every time I get out of the pool and it makes it a little bit better.
All right. Do you have a go-to lotion that keeps you super hydrated, your skin?
I do. It's the EOS lotion,
Ooh,
the
love
cashmere vanilla scent. Yes. Makes
All
me
right.
feel refreshed.
Super good tip. Okay, now I have to ask about your hair. Does it turn your hair green?
It does not, surprisingly. No.
A tip for keeping your hair healthy then?
I would just rinse it out every time you get out of the pool. And actually, swimmers have to shampoo their hair almost daily. So a little different. Yeah.
And what about a conditioner then? You have to have a good conditioner then.
I do. Actually, I keep it pretty basic. I use Suave Rosemary Mint, and it sounds silly because it's a basic brand, but it works for me, and I work with a lot of kids, so it actually deters any sort of lice outbreak as well.
Oh my gosh, these may be the best tips we've ever had on the podcast. Oh my gosh. So thank you so much for filling us in and thank you for getting warmed up with us. We totally appreciate that. And we love the transparency. That's so awesome. Why don't you fill us in now your story about being a girl in sports? Start anywhere you'd like.
Absolutely. Well, my journey to being a girl in sports started when I was 7 years old. My mom is probably my biggest inspiration when it comes to that. She was a softball player all throughout her life and played in college. So I actually started playing softball when I was 7 years old. And I did it almost to not necessarily please her, but kind of follow in her footsteps. And I realized that softball was not for me very quickly. I did not like the heat. Kudos to all the softball players out there, but it was too hot for me. So It was funny how eventually I found my way to the pool. My parents put me in swim lessons, pretty much like every normal kid growing up. I learned to swim, thought it was fun, enjoyed the summer pools we would go to. And one day my dad actually suggested, he was like, "You know what? You're a competitive little girl. Like maybe we find a swim team for you." And I thought he was joking at the beginning. I was like, "No, like I can't be a competitive swimmer." And at the time it was the era of Missy Franklin and Michael Phelps and the big names in swimming. So my mind immediately went to them and I was like, "I'm not that fast. There's no way that'll ever happen." But then after a few convincing conversations, I actually decided to go and try out a swim team. And believe it or not, the intro night was at a water park. So a young, just turned 8-year-old girl getting to go to a water park for the swim team. I was like, sign me up. This is great. This is fun. Met a bunch of girls my age. It was a blast. Came home, told my parents. I was like, yeah, I want to join the swim team. That was so much fun. And they sat me down and kind of had a long conversation about, okay, you joining the swim team doesn't mean you get to go to the water park every day, which I knew, but I was still super psyched to go to my tryout for the swim team. Went, tried out, loved it, had a blast with my original club team, which was actually in Oak Park, Illinois. It was Team Millennium. Started there when I was 8 years old and fell in love with the water. I became a mermaid, absolutely loved it. You couldn't necessarily keep me out of the water. So when there was an off season, my dad would tell me, he's like, "You're getting grumpy again. We got to figure out when swim starts again for you." But it was fun. It was my happy place. From there, I just grew in the sport. I had some great mentors from my original club team. We ended up moving when I was in middle school to Downers Grove, Illinois, which is now my hometown when I get to go home from college. Because we moved, I ended up switching club teams. So my first club team there was Express Swim Club. So it was right down the street from my house, a quick drive for morning practices, which was awesome. And that was kind of my next level up in swimming. So from there, I started to kind of have my first realization of, okay, this is fun. I'm going to take it a little more seriously now. I ended up progressing throughout the sport, which was great. I had coaches on that team that really pushed me to be the best that I could be. And I received probably one of the best compliments that I could from one of my club coaches there. She told me, she was like, "You know what? If you keep working at this, you could potentially swim in college." And for me, that was a motivator. I like to describe myself as a little bit of an underdog. I'm 5'1" swimming in the Big Ten. So I'm the epitome of anyone can swim, anyone can do it as long as you put in the work. So from there, I made that my goal. I wanted to defeat the odds and swim in college. And my biggest goal is to swim D1. So I hit the ground running in high school. I swam for Downers Grove North High School for 4 years. It was a great change going from club to a high school team because it was more centered around the team and not necessarily myself. So I became really immersed in, okay, I want to swim my fastest on a relay to score points for my team, or I want to win this race to make sure we score this many points to beat this team. It was all about the team, which helped me grow into myself and really become more of a leader for my team, which I felt an honor as I grew through high school. I was named captain my senior year, which was huge for me. I was so excited and so honored to do that. And through my last junior and senior year, I started the recruiting process. I I looked at a bunch of different schools, but also I am a COVID recruit. So there was that obstacle in the way. Had to do a lot of at home recruiting, a lot of Zooms, a lot of phone calls, a lot of unknowns. But eventually I had a phone call with my current head coach, Coach Nate here at Iowa, and just it really felt at home. And he invited me out for a visit, which was leading into the end of my junior year, going into my senior year of high school. And I came here with my mom, had a great visit. And a lot of people will say this about the Midwest. There's just this Midwest nice. And it's definitely the same here at Iowa. Everyone here was so kind. no matter where I went, I went into a coffee shop to grab a muffin or something on my visit, and everyone there was commenting on my Iowa shirt that I was wearing. Everyone said go Hawks. Everyone asked, how I was doing, if I was having a nice day. So it just really felt like home and a place that I could see myself at. So eventually I committed here, which was one of the greatest decisions of my life. And not only has it set me up as a female in sport, but it's also given me the next platform to figure out what I want to do in my career, which is coaching. I would love to give back to the sport that has given so much to me. And so I've started actually being a coach, a club coach here for iFly Swim Club in Iowa City. I've also taken the next steps to try to GA and possibly be an assistant coach for a female team in the future. So we'll see where that lands. But it's also helped me to set up my life in general. I met my fiance here at campus. I met so many lifelong friends. And now I just am excited to be able to finish out my senior year and then transition into giving back to women's sports at a coaching level. But yeah, that's my story.
Oh my goodness, Liv, that story is seriously so inspiring and just so full of so many amazing qualities. Hearing about how you kind of didn't even mean to fall in love with swim, but absolutely fell in love with it, took you through high school, and now eventually you've become such a leader on your team. Really, it is so amazing. I want to ask specifically because on the podcast, we sometimes talk about the change in relationship with sport from a young age and how it can be recreational and really used for fun and just being with a team, and then how over time it can obviously change because you have more responsibility and more pressure and competition. And it really sounds like you have just fallen more in love with it over time. I wanted to ask if you've ever felt that feeling of like losing the initial spark of swim and loving it, like how you've dealt with keeping a healthy relationship with your sport over time now that you're at such a competitive level.
Oh, absolutely. I've definitely felt the loss of that spark multiple times throughout my career. I think the first time I actually lost that spark was during COVID. During finishing my sophomore year of high school, I didn't really have anywhere to swim. So I kind of lost touch with the sport and had to stay home like everyone else had to for safety reasons. But I had to find that inner motivation of what's my why? Why did I love swimming in the first place? What has helped me so far get to wanting to continue in this sport, wanting to make it my career? And the very first time during COVID, it was, okay, do I really want to continue this post high school? And once I was able to take time and really answer those questions is when that spark came back, because I realized I do miss this sport and I do want to continue, which is what helped me motivate past high school. But also in college, actually, the end of my freshman year here at Iowa, I experienced a little bit of injury. I developed a condition behind both my knees, basically where I lose circulation if I contract my muscles for too long. So I was trying to figure out what was wrong. My legs would go numb after races. I spent 6 months trying to get a diagnosis from professionals, from doctors, from therapists, and it took a very long time to figure out what was actually wrong. And I was just very discouraged during that time. I'm naturally a very competitive person and also someone who wants to be at all things when it comes to being there for my team, being there for my friends, my community, all of those things. So it was really hard for me to kind of like pump the brakes a little bit. And during that time, I was like, okay, do I continue or do I take a step back? And also to find that spark again, it was during this instance that my teammates helped reignite that spark. My teammates were there to help me through it, help me realize that this wasn't going to define who I am as a person, let alone as a swimmer and my career. I just remember coming back after them motivating me so much to stay with the team and continue with swimming and that I mattered. One of my very first races back after doing PT, realizing what was wrong with my legs, I had swam one of my best events, one of my best races as a Hawkeye, and it was actually during an inter squad meet. And I finished my race. I was shocked at the time that I went. I hadn't touched that time in over a year with the condition of my legs, and all of my teammates were behind my lane cheering. My coaches gave me hugs. I started tearing up, but that really helped me realize that above all else, it's the community and the girls that are around you that truly matter. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm going to remember and not necessarily the swimming aspect of it.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's so emotional hearing you talk about your teammates and really, I mean, your team really makes all the difference in being able to rely on them all the time, but especially this is when you need them most, when you're in times where you're not feeling your best, you're feeling discouraged. And then also in the beginning, when you talked about intrinsically having to work at it when, I mean, COVID, we all ran through it in so many hard, difficult ways. And sometimes if you really love something, you need to be able to put in the work and kind of realize that it might not feel the best right now, but if you keep going, you can eventually continue it. So I just think that's so amazing that you're able to keep such a positive relationship with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's a mindset and it's hard to go through in the moment, but I'm thankful that I was able to push through it and come out on the other side.
Oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I want to go back to where Caitlin was kind of circling around. Something that really intrigued me also was that the sense of that inner motivation and understanding your why. So we actually talked about this on the podcast last week, but one of the things I do with my athletes is we do this values workshop where we connect to their values to help understand their why. And then from there, we're able to put together a list of habits. Some people call them goals. I like to use the word habits that you form in order to reach your why, which connects to your values. And so it's kind of this big, huge circle. So I'm just curious, that's a big word when you were talking about, kind of connecting to your why. And I think you said you were figuring that out in high school. Where did you get that from? Were coaches talking about that at the time, or were your parents, or were you just ahead of your time trying to figure that out?
Honestly, it was a combination of everything. I was very lucky in high school to have multiple mentors. My parents, first and foremost, my mom and dad were very and still are very influential in my athletic career and would always push me to find why I do things and what the reason is behind it. I also grew up in a very faith-based household, so everything for me was always to give the glory to God. That's why I do things. On another note, my high school coach, she would always do goal sheets every week. And we would have to dive deeper into why would we having, and I like how you're using the word habit, because it's actually the same word that she would use for all of us. But what our habits were for not only in the pool and things we wanted to get better in the pool, but also mentally and intrinsically and what got us there. So we would have to reflect. It was kind of cute. She would give us these poster pieces of paper and we would write on there, and then she would put stickers to kind of motivate us into the next week. But she would also write little comments on there. And one of her questions to me, one of the weeks that we had leading up to state was, why are you doing this? What is your reasoning for doing this? Because and still I am, but I'm always my biggest critic when it comes to everything. So I was very hard on myself for things that I could get better at. So she would always ask me, what's your why? Liv, why are you swimming? Why do you want to be here aside from your team, aside from wanting to swim in college? Why do you want to do it? And it was always that I love it. It's my calm. It's my happy place. It sounds kind of silly, but it was me being myself, where in the sport of swimming, it's the same anywhere across the world. You dive in, you put your head down, you swim across a black line, and you try to beat the person next to you by touching the wall first. So it's very black and white what you're doing, but it's also, for me, it's peaceful. Your head's underwater. It's you and your own thoughts. So at the end of the day, it's what makes me happy.
Yeah, swimming and running have a ton of commonality here. So I coach cross country and track, and it's interesting because you talk about it being a individual sport when you were in club, and that's kind of what happens with runners. Is it's an individual sport when they're in club, and that's track season, right? So it's an individual sport, but when they move into cross country, it is a team sport. Like, you have to buy in that you want to do well, but if the only reason you're on this team is to do well, it rarely leads in something successful or something good, because you can't get there without the support of everybody else. I mean, it takes all of your teammates to not just motivate you during practice, but it literally takes your teammates to be able to win and to win the day. And so I think that is something that is so important to kind of recognize, is that while in any sport, individual accolades are important, there are very few sports where like, I guess tennis is one of them. I suppose golf is one, but there's not really a ton of sports, particularly at the high school level, you can be successful at if you don't buy into the team aspect or the team community. I don't love the word culture because I think it's overused, but I like the way you kept using the word community and that human connection. And I think that's so important. But I want to go back to, it's my calm, it's my happy place, it's where I feel the most peaceful, and it's super hard work. And I just want to acknowledge and want to get your perspective that two things can be true at once. You're talking about this thing that is super calm, and you're super happy, you're peaceful. My daughter swam in college also. It is hard work. I mean, so two of those things are happening simultaneously. How do you wrap your head around that? Or how can you explain to some of our athletes listening that things can be hard and they can be calm, happy, and peaceful?
Absolutely. And also, oh my gosh, what a small world your daughter swam in. God, Sue, that's
Yeah.
fabulous. But yeah, absolutely. It can be the same as at the same exact time. When I say having your calm is more of, that's my center. That's what brings me back during those hard workouts of this is my happy place. When your body is hurting and when your body is tired, that's when I tell my brain to be calm and to relax. Because especially as a sprinter and a sprint butterflyer, and swimmers in general, all athletes in general, you're going to do hard things. It's always been preached to me to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's the biggest thing that I would tell any high school athlete in general is, it's okay for your body to be uncomfortable, but find that something or that why to calm your brain down. Because if both are working at that insane 1,000% speed at the same time, it's hard to achieve success. It's hard to be there. And having that calm and that focus is what is going to get you through practices, competition, and beyond in life.
Yeah. Caitlin, your turn. What do you have to say?
I mean, that really is golden, because what makes the difference between a good athlete and an athlete that can be very successful is being able to recognize when they really don't have any more gas in the tank, and looking inside of themselves and realizing, wait, I believe in myself that I can do this. I need the mental strength to be able to go to my peaceful place, my happy place, whatever can get them to relax and just keep going, keep performing. And I really just see so many similarities between swimming and running. I was a runner, so I completely relate to when you're just so exhausted, your body cannot go one step further. But looking inward at yourself is really, it just can make all the difference to keep going.
For sure. Oh my gosh, what similarities? We've got the runners and the swimmers and the whole family tree. That's great.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
It is super fun. Hey, Liv, I'm curious. So Monday, October 6th, is actually National Coaches Day, which is super fun. And you kept talking about your high school coach and you were using the word she. So I'm assuming you had a female coach. I would love for you to talk a little bit about what it meant to you as a girl in sport having a female coach. One of the things that we really recognize at Peak is that it is important to have mentors, but it's really important for girls in sport to have female mentors for the exact reasons that you're saying. Like, we should be able to succeed and be head coaches or athletic directors. And what we're finding more and more is that the numbers in coaching for women actually are going down. They're not going up. And there's a lot of different reasons for that. But talk to us about your relationship of having a female coach during your high school years.
Absolutely. Well, my female coach, and I'm sorry if I get a little emotional, her and I are very close. Yes, she is like a second mother to me. I talk to her probably every couple of weeks. Coach Jennifer Heyer, she has been an incredible inspiration to me for many years and for many reasons. But she's the first one who, aside from parents and starter club coaches, that truly believed in me and was in my corner no matter what. She was the first one to challenge things in the pool for me. She would tell me to ignore outside noise. You're going to reach your goals. You're going to make it. You're going to swim D1. You're going to do all these things. But she truly pushed me to be a better person and to be a better leader. I could talk to her about things that I couldn't talk to about, like, to anyone else about, for a lot of different reasons. And one of them was because she was a female coach. And not to downplay a male coach, but when you have a female head coach, especially in the sport of swimming, there's a lot of things that men can't necessarily relate to. And when it comes to the female body, when it comes to our capabilities, when it comes to just the daily life of a woman, it's hard sometimes to talk to a man about that when women have gone through it. And Coach Heyer, she was very vulnerable with all of us every day and told us and taught us many different lessons. And one of them, her message was always to be a strong female athlete. And she is still doing that. She coaches in Illinois to this day, not at my high school anymore, but she also coaches and runs her own team internationally. I know she's in Mexico right now doing that. But she was just such a pivotal person and role model in my life. And she was the sole person that truly motivated me to want to coach and be a female coach and role model for others. So I hope I make her proud in that front, but I'm very, very thankful to her for that.
Yeah, well, for sure she's proud. I mean, like, there's absolutely no doubt. So we're excited for her to listen to you and listen to this podcast. We agree. And we're really here to obviously have conversations to girls in sport and coaches in sport and to try to change some of the narrative. And we agree. And when you're looking statistically at things, particularly for girls in sport, I mean, sport hasn't been around for females as long as it has been around for men. And the science is a little lagging. We talk a little bit about that both on our website and the podcast. Information about sport specific and gender specific strength training and fuel needs and things that you're alluding to, like, breast development and periods and those type of things, which if you are training a female athlete who is healthy, those things, they are going to be having their periods every month and they are going to be developing breasts and their bodies are physiologically going to change and they are going to develop more, soft tissue issues like you're talking about, or, bone related issues with stress fractures because of bone density issues. There are so many more nuances that we really didn't understand until, probably the last 10 to 15 years, to be honest with you. We've really, science for girls in sport has really come a long way. We have a super long way to go. Don't get me wrong. But I do agree with you that if we don't have more women staying in sport and staying in positions of leadership, it's going to be hard to keep moving that needle forward. I mean, I do believe that there's no glass ceiling here. We can keep moving up, and there's so much opportunity for not just athletic performance, but for positions of leadership and things like, making big money, being the head coach as a female at the University of Iowa. I know that's not what you're talking about, but even looking at the college level, there aren't as many female head coaches. And why is that? And can it be something that we should aspire to? So I'm curious when you talk about coaching outside of once you graduate from college, and it's interesting because 3 of my kids also coach at the college level. One is no longer coaching at the college level. Actually, one moved into the pros, but my kids also aspired to do that after playing in college. Like, what's next? And can I make a difference in sport? And I believe that they are, and I believe that they can. And I want to hear more about that for you. What do you think is next? And how do you think you can impact differently because you have been a girl in sport?
For sure. I completely agree with you. For me, my goal, what next, is to try to get my foot in the door at a collegiate program in the sport of swimming. I want to, whether that's start off as a GA or an assistant or be blessed with a head coaching job right out of the gate. We'll see what's in store, but that's my goal. I think I have a different view and a different lens on it for multiple reasons. One, going through 4 years, almost 4 years of collegiate swimming as an athlete, but also I've gone through many different things. And while being an athlete, I've also started coaching at a younger age. So I've started coaching at the ground level, very young female swimmers, starting from like 6 years old all the way to the oldest one that I coach now is 18, starting to figure out where she wants to go and swim in college. But also female coaches, I truly believe it's on the rise. At least in my community, there's a lot of girls, some close friends of mine that are currently on the team with me. That's what all of us are aspiring to do. We've all been very lucky to have such influential female coaching figures in our lives. And that's where we want to go and to make an impact on our sport. We want to give back and we want to keep this cycle continuing because you're right. Female coaches and them being in the collegiate scene right now is declining, and we want to make that shift and stop it in its tracks right now.
Yeah. Caitlin, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it really is just so clear that the need for female coaches is absolutely there. And being able to be a developing female athlete, I mean, I feel so lucky that I was able to experience having multiple female coaches, not just one, which so many female athletes don't even get to experience one female coach throughout their athletic career. But being able to have a community of female coaches that you can talk to in more situations about your body development, going through periods, especially when it's impacting and you don't know exactly how to deal with it with your athletic performances and your bodies are changing. I just hope that we can see in the future the amount of female coaches keep growing. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's right. It's so funny, Liv, when you were talking about, we're going to cool down here in a minute, but when you were talking about Midwest friendly and you were talking about, the University of Iowa and people, counting on your t-shirt and saying go Hawks. And I'm gonna like pause here for just a minute and be like, the Midwest is kind of friendly, but I was just completely different. My husband graduated from the University of Iowa and he is a grown man. And every time like he sees someone with a t-shirt, he's like, go Hawks. I'm like, dude, are you ever going to outgrow that? He's like, never. It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Our youngest daughter also graduated from the University of Iowa. So Iowa City is such an incredible college town. And in the Big Ten, it's so unique because it is a smaller school. And so it does feel like a little more homey and stuff like that. Your new pool there at the University of Iowa is absolutely beautiful. So there was my plug for I went to Purdue, so I'm only going to plug the University of Iowa so far.
I get it. I respectfully get it.
Yes. Yeah. And we are both huge basketball fans. Our oldest son is a basketball coach. And so while I am a huge Boilermaker fan, he is absolutely ridden the high wave of the University of Iowa girls basketball team, which is looks like they're going to have another fabulous year again this
Oh,
year.
yes.
So yeah, that also has to be exciting to be at the University of Iowa where girls sports are making headlines. That has to be right. Is that not, can you guys feel that through all of the sports, or is it primarily a women's basketball thing?
Oh, we can feel it through all the sports. I will say we are led by our fearless AD, which is also a female. Beth
Amazing.
is amazing, and she does a phenomenal job of leading from the helm and inspiring all female sports that are here on campus and
Amazing.
makes it clear to us that they're here to stay. And yes, with women's basketball, that is definitely, they're at the start and they've been doing a fabulous job, especially, Caitlin Clark and the whole team. But yes, I would say every female sport on campus is raring to go and we're all fired up.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that's super exciting. You know what? I don't think I knew that the AD there was a woman. That is super duper impressive.
Yes, she is fabulous. She also does an amazing job of going and visiting all the teams. She's come to multiple of our practices. I've had the pleasure of speaking to her a few times, and she's just such a down to earth and genuine person. She comes on deck for our meets as often as she can. She's repping the black and gold, which is great.
Oh my gosh, amazing. Go Hawks. Then I'm gonna have
Yes.
to start wearing my Hawkeye gear.
There
All
you
right,
go. Go Hawks. I'm gonna have to send you a t-shirt.
You might have to send me a t-shirt. We've got, trust me, he has a wardrobe, which is hilarious, but I may have to start sporting the t-shirt for sure. But this has been an absolute blast. You are a huge pleasure. And Caitlin and I wish you nothing but the very best. And not only the rest of your senior swim season, but all of your endeavors ahead. We really hope to stay connected with you here at Peak because we are here to make an impact and make a difference to girls and coaches in sport. And we get so energized by talking to people like you who also want to make an impact. So we are for sure going to stay connected, but let's go ahead and get cooled down. And I am curious about a couple things because Megan answered this and I always will remember her answer. So food you wish was most portable to eat on a bus after competition.
Oh my goodness. I'm going to go the sweet route, ice cream.
Look what Megan said.
Oh my gosh, no way. I'm going to have to text her. That's so funny. Yeah, on the bus ride, I will say we're very blessed. We're very lucky. We get meals and everything transported to us when we're on the bus ride home. But it's like anyone knows that's on a bus, it can be a little bit of a bumpy ride.
Correct.
So you can't, ice cream could get a little messy. I mean, all of us have spilled food on the bus before at one time or another.
Yep.
But yeah, ice cream, yes. A good chocolate ice cream with some Oreo on top. Oh yeah.
Love that. That's exactly and her reasoning was the same. It melts, it gets messy. That's hilarious. She said the exact same thing. That's very funny.
Oh my gosh. Too funny.
Must be a swimmer thing. All right. Last
Definitely.
question. If talent were not an issue, what sport would you love to excel in?
Ooh, probably gymnastics, only because I love to watch it. I think it's so cool.
For sure the most popular answer.
Yep.
It's so funny. It is. But have you ever gone to see the gymnasts at University of Iowa perform?
I have. They're amazing. We've also lifted at the same time with them a few times. They're all great athletes, and more importantly, they're all very, very nice girls.
That's awesome. That is super cool. Well, Liv, thank you so much for being here. Thanks to everyone who has tuned in and stayed till the end. We appreciate more than you can imagine your energy for being here. Keep sharing us with your favorite athletes and favorite coaches who are sharing the podcast with your teams. Please keep doing that. We absolutely love that. We love to hear the feedback. And the only thing we will ever ask of you is to make sure that you give us a 5-star rating on any of the platforms you listen to. It helps more than you can imagine. Don't forget to check out our new app. I know Caitlin has been working super hard on that behind the scenes. That is on our website also. And we can't wait to see you again at Peak next week.